Hey everyone, welcome back to the Re-readable podcast. I'm KG.
I'm Sammy.
And we're super glad that you're here for this week's episode. I'm pretty excited about this one. I don't know about you, but we're going to be talking all about our hot takes or hills will die on book edition.
Yeah.
And I think we have some good ones today. I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping that you guys go crazy in our comments and that we can talk to you about this, whether or not you agree. That's what we want to talk to you guys about. That's what book community is for. But we feel pretty passionately about these, and not everyone that we're going to share do each of us agree on.
Yeah.
So this is also going to be fun take. This is hot take in our relationship as well. So I think it's going to be so fun.
Absolutely.
So we have some romance, we have some young adult, we have some fantasy ones all in this episode. So Sammy, do you want to kick us off?
I sure can. We're going to start with some like romance and young adult and then move our way into fantasy because we know that's where like the real controversy lies.
We have some good ones, y'all, so stay tuned.
Stick around. You have to stay with us. But I'm going to start with some romance.
I'm excited.
And I'm going to start, this one was kind of controversial for me and KG. So we read Every Summer After last year. And did you read it before that?
I think I had read it the year before because I read it in college, I think.
Okay.
But
yeah. So I read Every Summer After last year and KG had made me read it. And I am going to tell you right now to start us off with our very hot takes that I was Team Charlie.
Crazy to me.
I
understand why, but wow.
I understood that I know that Percy was going to end up with Sam.
Right.
I understand it. I get it. But justice for Charlie. I think Charlie treated Percy better. I think I get why they did what they did because they were on a break and he was
terrible to her and Sam was.
Sam was terrible to her.
He was.
And Percy was Charlie was always there for Percy.
Yeah.
And I just it gets me so worked up. When I finished reading, I remember texting KG that I was just like, I was so mad because Sam just like always had to like, there would not be a Sam and Percy without Charlie being like, hey Sam, go do this. Hey Sam, go do this.
That's true.
Hey Sam, kick in the butt. Like, all I have to say is that I'm Team Charlie. Brother. He was a great big brother, and I understand why what happened between them happened. I get it. I would have fallen for Charlie too. So
you have to read One Golden Summer.
I know. I haven't done it yet.
Charlie gets his moment.
He deserves his moment.
Yeah.
But I thought his moment should have been with Percy.
I think that is a good hot take. So let us know what you guys think and if you agree or disagree.
That's how I'm starting this episode. Is Team Charlie.
We love Carly Fortune here, so that was a good one. That was a good one to start with.
Just
I liked it.
That's just a taste of what's to come because it's just gonna get hotter and hotter in here with the takes. Lay it on me, KG. What are you working with?
Okay, so I know this one you do not agree with, but I have a Twilight one.
Oh.
I am not gonna lie to you guys. I'm always the queen of the book was better, like almost always. I could not get through the books, and I tried. I'm not one to DNF books either, but I could not get through the second one. I read the first one and was like, oh, okay, good time, very cheesy. But the second one, I was in pain. It was rough.
Wait, have you finished reading them?
No, I never even finished them. I know.
KG.
And the movies are not like top tier cinematic masterpieces either.
No, they're not.
But I felt like
Hang tight, Spider Monkey.
But I felt like, crazy. But I felt like I could at least watch those and be like, have a comical experience.
KG.
Girl, I could not with the books. So I'm here to say that I thought the movies were better. I know you disagree. I know. I just think they're so cringy. Oh my gosh, so much so.
No.
Okay.
We're showing our age between the two of us right now because you stopping a new moon is ripping my heart out.
I'm sorry.
I can remember vividly
really
sitting on my mother's bed in Virginia reading New Moon, and I remember when Edward left Bella in the woods, when they broke up, I threw the book across the bed and wept. I cried and cried and cried. This is, again, it's showing our age, because I remember when the movies came out, my mom and I, because, you know, that was the whole theater at the time was moms and daughters, and it was just the girly pops. And I remember when Breaking Dawn came out, part 1 is when Carlisle's head.
That's part 2.
Okay. Yeah. So part 2, I remember when it came out and we were at the theaters, every person in that theater, I mean, it must have been like Avengers Endgame level.
Oh, I'm sure it was like same
gasping
tier, you know?
And yelling, and like when that happened to Carlisle, we were, what? That doesn't happen in the books. And it's just like a bunch of women in a theater, like, oh my gosh, like, because, you know, we finished reading the books, KG.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's crazy.
I know.
That is a hot take. I can remember vividly just like the.
Yeah, I think I may have been past my time though. I agree. Too, because it was I didn't start trying to read them until college, because my parents were like weird about vampires when I was growing up, and they didn't want me to read it before. But I was pretty young when they came out too. We're not so far apart in age, but I feel like you would have already been in like at least middle school when I was in elementary. So that's kind of a big difference in reading material, you know. And so by the time I actually picked them up, it was college. Yep. And I just feel like...
I agree. If I were to read them now for the first time, or even in college for the first time, I'd probably get the ick. Yeah. But reading them middle school to high school, when they were like dropping...
Oh, I can't imagine how insane that would have been. I would feel differently, I'm sure, if that was the case. I think it was just when I picked them up. But, I couldn't. They were so cringy to me. Though. But the movies, I'll watch for a good laugh, you know?
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good one.
Okay.
Keeping in the not fantasy quite yet atmosphere, I'm gonna go to The Legacy by Elle Kennedy.
Okay.
So if any of you have read, they're right here if you guys are watching on YouTube, my babies. If any of you have read the Off Campus series, I am a huge off-campus series fan, and I'm getting KG on that track too, getting her on the train. But The Legacy is basically a novella with 4 different books, or 4 different novellas based on the other 4 books in the series. And the novella that was about Hannah and Garrett, some spoilers ahead if you haven't read it, but if you've read it, hopefully you agree with me. Hannah was in the wrong. I do not think Garrett was in the wrong. Garrett should not have had to grovel. Garrett should not have had to apologize. No. Garrett was not in the wrong.
I agree with you on this one 100%.
So basically, to give you a long story short, Hannah was pregnant for 10 weeks, told her friends,
10 weeks.
Didn't tell her boyfriend of like 5 years or 4 years or however long it had been, didn't tell her boyfriend, kept chickening out every time she had to tell him, was being a coward, and wouldn't tell her boyfriend, wouldn't tell Garrett, over and over and over. And Garrett started to kind of like suspect something was happening. And even like when he was like, hey, you good? Like, what's wrong? Like, are you all right? Still nothing. Like opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And then basically Garrett was doing something with his dad, who he has a very bad relationship with because his dad was abusive, and it's a whole nother side story. And Hannah knew he would be in a bad mood, and Hannah knew that this was an awful thing that he was in the middle of, and he was really upset about it. And granted, to Hannah's side, you know, an emergency happened, and you can't know when an emergency is going to happen, so I don't fault her for that. But she more or less, she was 10 weeks pregnant, started spotting, started freaking out because she needed to go to the hospital, wasn't feeling good. And she called Garrett while he's in the middle of this interview with his dad on ESPN, and left him a voicemail and said, hey, I'm pregnant, BT dubs, I need to go to the hospital, come quick.
It was so bad.
So, number one, are you kidding me? Then, like he does, because he's amazing, he drops everything he's doing, runs home to go help her, gets home to come and help her, and she's freaking out, and they start yelling at each other in the car, and he's like, I just don't understand why you didn't tell me. And she's like, well, I don't know, like, I couldn't find the right time, blah 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 blah, making excuses after excuses.
It was so annoying.
And he's like, he compares Hannah to his dad, because his dad was super like manipulative and like withheld information, but Hannah was doing that. She was withholding information that was important to both of them,
100%,
and was making decisions without him.
Like his
and
dad.
She was being like Phil in that instance. And then Hannah got all butthurt about it, and then got mad at him at the hospital. Like, you've given this man like 20 seconds to process this information that you've been sitting on for 2.5 months, while he's having one of his worst days ever.
100%.
Not that you're not having a bad day because you're in the hospital, but also you gotta have some empathy here. Yeah. And then Garrett, because he's an amazing guy, goes and like apologizes and grovels and like does a big like public display of affection.
And it was
it's
really
like,
sweet.
And it was so sweet, but it was unnecessary.
Yeah, no.
It should have been the other way around, and I will die on that hill. It is why I think Grace Logan is the #1 female main character in the off-campus series, and not Hannah, because of that whole situation in the legacy.
She acted so immature.
So immature.
And she knows that that's a trigger for Garrett. And,
yes.
And she did it anyway.
I'm still upset about it to this day. So
I can't.
That's my
can't.
hot take, because I know some of the girlies out there wouldn't agree and think, oh my gosh, the men should have to grovel. And in some cases, they definitely should.
100%.
But in this case, he should not have.
No, 100% no.
So that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, that was a really good one.
Thank you.
I'm 100% in agreement with you on that one.
Thank you. I'm glad that we're in agreement on that one.
So frustrated just thinking about it. But anyway, okay. I was going to do one, but I think I'm going to pivot and I'm going to share a different one. So I'm going to do...
Give it to me.
So
I love a pivot.
This is spoilers ahead if you've read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
Ooh.
I'm going to do this one.
I have not, but...
She has not read this, so this is why I was like, but she's never going to read it. So I feel okay sharing this hot take.
It's fine with me.
That series blew up, like, I don't know, 2 years ago. Holly Jackson, I think, is the author, and she's so popular. They've come out with a show now for this series. So this is why I also feel like I should talk about this one, because the show just came out.
Okay.
So you guys are probably watching it. I really enjoyed myself reading the first one. And the second one was mid, not as good as the first one, but still, like, good. And I don't read suspense, thriller, mysteries that often because I'm a wimp, but these were doable, because she's basically, the whole premise of the book is for a project at school, she decides to take on a murder case that happened in their town with a girl that was in high school.
Okay.
And she thinks that the man that they accused is not guilty. She thinks somebody else did it. So she ends up, each senior gets to do a project, I think of like their choosing. They just have to get it approved by the school. It's been a while since I've read it. And so this is what she proposes to do hers on. So basically that just like starts a whole spiral for all 3 books. So the third book is where my hot take comes. Sorry, it took me around the world to get there. I really can appreciate how much, I really appreciate how she wrapped up everything from that case and tied everything up together in the third book. But what the heck was the third book? It was awful. Sammy, it was so bad. And the whole book just made me so mad. So basically, the guy that we find out is like the serial killer from the town, and wasn't ended up being the one that killed this girl, but it was her dad, and he was a serial killer, and she figured it out, and like that's part of what led to her death.
Dad?
Yeah, no, the girl that died.
The girl that
was murdered. Dad. So basically, he is a serial killer, as I said before, and basically he stalks every one of his victims before he murders them. He starts stalking her. So the whole series is like young adult, like fine, and then that one took such a turn. I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep. It was so scary. So basically this girl is like against violence, like the main character. She's so like, I just felt like the whole book was just out of character for her. She ends up murdering this guy when he tries to kill her.
Oh my gosh.
But in like self-defense, kind of, but then she covers up the whole thing. So basically, and blames it on somebody else. Yes! When I tell you, I was so mad because the whole time you're like rooting for this girl and you're like, yes, find the right perpetrator, like bring justice. And it just got like super political, and she was like, I can't trust the police, I can't tell them, when she killed him out of self-defense. Like, he was literally about to murder her. But she lies about the whole thing. She brings all her friends in on it, and they help her stage it to look like it was somebody else and keep it a huge secret. The guy they pin it on is a terrible guy, but still, like, it was crazy. So she ends up like breaking up with our boyfriend over it, and he like literally tied himself all up in this. Like, she just basically turned into someone that she was completely against in the first book. Like, it was like a totally different
I hate that
person, and I was so mad. And I was like, you've been having us root for finding justice for a murderer. You literally became the murderer and pinned it on somebody else and drug everybody else down with you. Like, it was crazy.
There is no
Sammy.
way I would have predicted any of that was coming out of your mouth.
And the first two were good. They were good. And this one was so creepy. I could not sleep. I won't even say stuff because we're very similar in this. You need to sleep tonight.
This is enough information for me.
But it was insane. And I will die on that hill that is one of the worst like character developments ever. Like, the book was crazy. We have a mutual friend that read it, her and her daughter, and they both felt the same way about this book. Like, it was just terrible. I'm so mad about it still to this day, and it just never have happened.
Wow.
But anyway, there we go.
That
I'm done.
Was not even close to what I expected you to say was going to happen in that book as you were describing
I'm mad about it. If I think about it too long, I get fiery about it again. But yeah, it was crazy. Hated it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm never going to read it.
No.
And
you shouldn't, because you would hate them all.
would hate that.
Yeah.
I can't. Wow. Okay. That was an excellent one. You got me worked up, and I haven't even read it.
It was bad.
So if you're out there and for some reason you don't agree, I have to know what your opinion is, because Paige,
honestly,
you just sold me on
please.
her opinion.
I want to hear what you guys think, because I haven't met someone that enjoyed the last book yet, but I'm sure there's somebody, like, the series was so popular. So tell me what you thought.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But that's why I refuse to start the show, because it's a season per book, and I'm like, I can't even watching that in a show would be even creepier, but then B, I just know what happens in the third book, and I just can't even get invested.
Yeah.
You know?
I understand.
Yeah.
I you know what's gonna happen. I get it. And I feel like a lot of TV shows as of late are like doing that with like the endings, like leaving them kind of like open-ended and stuff. And it's just like, for us happily ever after girlies right here.
Yes. That is so true.
Just
so true.
I'm here to escape real life. Like, I'm here to escape.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. That's true.
Where's my happy ending?
Yeah, you wouldn't get it in this one.
No, it doesn't seem like I would.
I was so mad about
I don't think I would based on the title, but still,
And it was like really good at the beginning, because she starts a podcast like for the project as well, and it was just really good. The first one was really good. I rated it 5 stars, and it just went so far down from that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, you've also convinced me not to read it. So not that I ever was, but I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take I would say a hard left turn into fantasy. However, if you've read Crescent City, you would also know that this is not too far of a left turn where I'm going to go based on what KG just said. I am going to talk mostly about a scene from the House of Earth and Blood, which is Crescent City 1. For those of you looking at my screen, you can see if you're on YouTube. But I'm going to start out, before I talk about this particular scene that I think is without a doubt, the most well-written, like the best scene in any Sarah J. Maas book. And there are a couple that I think come really close, but I think this is the most well-written scene.
It's amazing.
Some other scenes might be my favorite just because of what happens, but I think this is the most well-written.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a fair statement.
I think that and I'm sorry, shoot the messenger if you want, but I think Throne of Glass is not as good as Crescent City.
No.
And I think Crescent City is more well written.
It's so
I think it's better developed.
good. Yeah.
And I know there are some really well developed things that I'm going to talk about later for Throne of Glass, but I think Crescent City is better. I think ACOTAR is just my number one forever.
Yeah.
But honestly, Crescent City could be more well written than ACOTAR.
It's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
And I think specifically the most well written Sarah J. Maas part of a book, whatever, is going to be in House of Earth and Blood, which is again Crescent City 1, and it is the summit scene. And if you know what I am talking about, I talk about this scene all the time. If anyone asks me, I've probably told KG this 100 times.
It's a Hall of Fame scene though.
It
is so good.
So good. And I don't want to spoil it all for you because I think that you must read Crescent City. If you have read any Sarah J. Maas, and you know eventually we're going to get a sixth ACOTAR book, some people are like, I'm not going to read Crescent City because it's urban fantasy. I don't understand that. I don't get it. It is.
You have to though. Like,
you have
not to be spoilers,
Number one.
but you aren't going to be able to continue with the way ACOTAR's going unless you read Crescent City.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
First and foremost, that is the most important. Like, you actually have to. If you're going to understand what's going to happen next, you have to read it. I don't understand why we get upset because it's an urban fantasy. She didn't write it and say this is like fantasy. It is described as being urban dystopian fantasy.
And it's really good.
It is really good. Just because it's different than Throne of Glass doesn't make it. I don't. That's another rabbit hole I'm going down. I don't need to. But anyway, Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, the summit scene. Without giving away too much of what's happening, basically in this scene, there's two things happening in two separate places at once. And while these two things are happening simultaneously, there is the female main character, and it's happening to her. She's a part of this big moment, this huge moment, this like climax of the story is happening to the female main character, and we are seeing her point of view as she is in the midst of this scene, which I'm not going to give away. But whilst she is in the middle of this scene, her friends and all of her acquaintances are somewhere else at a place called the Summit. So they're at this big, basically like government meeting, and they're at the Summit a ways away, not anywhere close. They are a far leap away. Like, they can't just run over real quick and help her. And one of the guys is like really tech savvy, basically breaks into the security system that's where the female main character Bryce is at, and basically on a jumbotron at the Summit, we see all of the other characters' point of view as they watch what's happening to Bryce. So we get to see the video, we get to hear everyone's point of view as they watch the video, and we get to see Bryce while this scene is playing itself out.
Yeah, you get from her personal point of view.
And you get her personal point of view, while everyone else is watching it happen and giving commentary on what's happening and trying to figure out how to get back to help her, which they can't. And they're like completely helpless and just have to watch this scene play out. And it is devastating. And it is...
Oh man, I've got chills thinking about it.
I'm going to have to reread it before I go to sleep tonight. Like, it's devastating and it's heartbreaking, and it is... hold on.
It's so good.
And I won't tell you what happens to one of the characters, but let me quote one of the characters.
Oh my gosh.
Then let it be known, my first act of freedom was to help my friends.
You have to read it,
you
guys.
Oh my gosh. Read it.
Crescent City is so good. Girl, the quote too much. That was crazy. It's such a good scene.
And I don't want to give it away because I think that everyone needs... I even made my husband read that book because I was just like, I have to talk to you about it. Like, it's so good. Anyone that starts reading fantasy, I like shove it in their face. I'm like, so please read it. And I mean, the first one, the way I said it was kind of a segue, is the first book is kind of like a giant murder mystery. You know, that's my small segue from what she was talking about to what I was talking about. But please read Crescent City. It is so well written, and I don't understand the people. And you cannot change my mind if you argue that Crescent City is not good. You can't change my mind if you say it's not well written, because it is without a doubt the most well written
it's so good.
of any Sarah J. Maas, and I think all of them are. I loved all of the Crescent City books.
They're all good.
They're all good, and
and I feel like sometimes as sequels come out, they get, a series can get worse. The third one might be my favorite. Like it is my favorite.
I think it is. Now that I think about it,
it's my favorite, and it is so. I
think my favorite changes on the day.
Oh my gosh,
it's so
the whole
good.
series is so good,
and it's just
this is a hill we're gonna die on.
It's such a unique, like almost like ragtag group of friends that like really make a difference in this like urban society where there's just so much dysfunction, and I can't praise it enough.
So good.
So before I go on too many
that's really good
sidetracks, that's it. Crescent City's the best.
My next one is kind of a piggyback off of this.
Let me hear it.
So I just fully believe, and we've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but that Crescent City is so much better than Throne of Glass. And ACOTAR's our favorite. So Throne of Glass, that means it's our least favorite Sarah J. Maas series. And I'm not saying it's bad. Like, Sarah J. Maas is a phenomenal writer. There are so many great things about it. I think if you are going to read any more in SJM, and I'm going to get to this more in my last hot take, I think that if you move forward with her anymore, you have to read all of them.
Yeah.
Because she's starting to connect every universe and every, kind of like how Marvel has done, where they've, like in Endgame, every single movie connected and all of them overlapped. That's what's happening right now. And so I think you have to read them. Even Throne of Glass that we didn't love, I'm glad I read it. Because
for sure.
you needed to. But I just think that it is not as good. And I just think it's my least favorite. And I don't think I'm not going to change my mind on it.
I don't think I will either.
It is not as good. It's so long.
For no reason.
For no reason. And I think I'm looking at it right now, the first 2 books are basically like a different series.
Yeah.
Like, they're so different. And you learn a few little tidbits that come into play later, but honestly, they're like a totally just like standalone little duology. Like, it's kind of weird. And then I just cannot stand Elain.
Agreed.
I know people feel so differently, and she's a lot of times people's favorite female main character. I cannot. She's supposed to be a world-renowned assassin that, like, no one knows her identity, and I feel so passionately about this. There is no way that this girl could be an assassin. She's, like, 16. Not saying you can't be dangerous when you're 16, but she's been talking about how she's done it for years, and she's killed more people than anybody in the country, or the little country that they live in. That is so unlikely. And then the fact that in the first couple of books, she talks a big, huge game, and it's like, I'm
she
the
couldn't
best.
have, because she was in the salt mines for like 3 years.
That's what I'm saying. And then she says that she's like this stealthy assassin. Y'all, she gets her room gets broken into multiple times in multiple of the books. Is not just one. She sleeps through all of it. Yeah. I'm like, there is no way.
A valid point.
No way that she would be this assassin of such great renown, and she can't even wake up when someone's breaking into her room. It feels so unlikely to me. She's so annoying to me, and she gets better as the series goes on. Like, she's pretty obnoxious, and she's way obnoxious, especially in the first couple books. I think it gets a little better, but she's kind of like that the whole time, and she's like very self-loathing kind of at the same time, but then she's also just like super cocky at the same time.
Yes, at the same time. It is a weird,
I don't know how to describe
that. Dichotomy, is that the word? A weird dichotomy between the two of those.
It's just weird. And she gets on my nerves, and I just think she also is so kind of dishonest to the people in her life. Like, she's very a selective sharer based on who's there at what time. And even with her significant other. Even up into the last book, she was withholding information that was just hurting people.
Right.
And it was just, I just cannot.
And I think that a lot of that has to do with like her being scared things aren't going to work out. And they do end up working out, obviously, because that's a book and that's how it's supposed to happen. But I agree. It's just like, it's so frustrating.
Yeah. I just don't like her.
No.
And there's so many characters in Throne of Glass too. By the end, I swear there's 20 POVs every chapter. Like, it's like too much. It's too much. And there's quite a few other female main characters that come to play as it goes on, and I like every single one of them significantly better than her.
Absolutely.
And she's supposed to be the one that, you know, everybody loves, but she's snooty, she's mean, and she's dishonest, and I know all the books that we read are pretty unrealistic, but I just couldn't buy the stuff that they were selling about her the whole time.
I agree. I understand that completely.
I couldn't get on it.
I think that's part of the reason I don't like Throne of Glass as much either as Elain. Like, I'm with you.
She just drives me nuts.
She's so frustrating.
A lot of people fight and are like, Bryce was the worst. Bryce is literally amazing.
I love
and
Bryce.
She thinks of everybody else before she thinks of herself. And that's what I want in a female main character. I want her to be selfless. I want to root for you.
Right.
And I just couldn't do that with Elain.
Bryce is so real. Like, struggles with real things and like hurts like a real person and deals with grief like a real person and doesn't like withhold every piece of information that's helpful. Elain. Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I just can't get behind that. Feyre is amazing as well. Like, I love her. She's my favorite. She is my favorite forever. But Bryce is a close second for the 3 series. She's fabulous. So that's all I have to say on that, honestly. I could go on for a while, but she just gets on my nerves.
I'm with you. Are you going to talk any more about Throne of Glass?
I think I'm done with Throne of Glass.
Okay, well, while you're talking about Throne of Glass, before I go into
do it.
a least favorite SJM character that I'm going to have a hot take on, I will say with Throne of Glass, I think Tower of Dawn is the best book in the series. And if you haven't read it, there are so many people I know that are like, Throne of Glass is her best series, and I skipped it. What do you mean? How have you determined this is the best series and you haven't even read all the books? First and foremost,
that was the only book I rated 5 stars in the whole series.
It was the only one I think we're gonna have to have a whole Throne of Glass episode because I have so many things to say. But with Throne of Glass, I loved Tower of Dawn, and it is partially because I love Cale.
I love him.
And I don't understand the hate. Like, I cannot figure it out. First, let me go to Tower of Dawn. Tower of Dawn has one of the most important pieces of information that is revealed.
But in not just Throne of Glass world. Like, SJM universe as a whole. Like, huge
piece of information.
Yeah.
And how you read the whole series without knowing that piece of information and you're not confused, I can't understand.
The book is perfect.
It's so good. The world building, it's like a second world within this world, is amazing. The whole other continent. The new characters, Sartak and Irene.
Oh, yeah.
I love. They're fantastic. Everyone there, awesome. I loved those extra characters, but I love Cale.
I know, and same.
Everyone's like, he was mean to Elain, or like got mad at Elain when he figured out she was really an assassin. Okay, let me put this to you. Let me lay out the facts. Cale likes Elain. Elain likes Cale. Great. They kind of are a thing for a second. Awesome. He figures out her identity and figures out, one, she really does murder people, which is like, okay, that's a little jarring. The lady I like actually is out like killing people. So
yeah, exactly.
That's a little jarring.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, don't tell me you wouldn't be jarred by that.
Oh, 100%.
Number two, then he starts figuring out who she really is and that she has like magical abilities and is like has power. Like when he has been trained his whole existence, his whole life, to not like that stuff, to hate that stuff, for that to be the enemy in his eyes. You're telling me in the political climate of this world today that if someone had a different belief than you and you've been trained your whole life to have the same belief, that you would just be like, yeah, it's fine. He should have been fine with that, because you're a liar. You're a liar.
That is crazy to me.
So, number 2, he
does so much for her
Yes.
cause the whole series.
And then my last point is that he saved her dog every chance he got. And we're not going to forgive him for that. Then he brings back Irene Towers and more or less saves the day.
The whole series, thanks to her. And he also can't even walk.
Yes.
My gosh. Yes, he gets so injured. It's not even funny, but it just like blows my mind how people think this. But like he's so injured fighting for her cause.
Because he still believes in her.
He becomes paralyzed. And that's part of the reason he meets Irene. I just can't even, I don't understand.
He has the right to be a little upset when he figures out who she is.
100%.
I can't. Okay, that wasn't where I was going to go with my next hot take, but I had to sidebar for a second on that one.
That was a great one.
My next hot take, and these last 2 are ACOTAR related. I will die here, right here. If Nesta doesn't have any haters, then I am dead. Because I am number 1 Nesta hater. Number 1 forever. I hate her. I can't stand her. And if you tell me that she had a redemption arc, you're wrong. And you won't change my mind, because she did not. So let me start with my good friend Nesta here.
We're pulling up the bullet points for this
I've got
one,
bullet
guys.
points on this one, because I don't want to miss a single word that I wrote down in my anger.
We're getting for real here.
She's not been redeemed. Okay, let me start at the top of the list. She's not redeemed, and her trauma is not an excuse to treat others the way she's been treating them.
I agree. With that.
Everyone in her family has had the trauma.
Yeah.
And if anyone has had worse trauma than another person, it was Feyre.
100%.
And Feyre didn't treat other people the way that Nesta is treating people. I don't understand how. Well, actually, I do. I feel like I do. She loved and respected the Valkyrie friends more than her own sister, and her sister did everything for her. Okay, maybe you don't like your sister because she's like dragging you out of your like comatose alcoholic state to like more or less do some rehab. But okay, sorry, because she loves you and cares about you. My bad. Like, okay, but I don't understand. Like, Feyre was hurting too, and let me get on my points here. Hold on. Okay. She was hurting, but so was Feyre, and Feyre still showed up for everyone. Nesta spent years, her whole life basically, treating her like garbage, treating her like trash, and I don't understand how everyone's like, oh my gosh, read Silver Flames, move on. Look at her, she redeemed herself because she helped Feyre when she was pregnant. No. No. You do not get to do one good thing. Saving her during labor, a great thing. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. It was a great thing. But that's not a redemption arc. That is basic emotional maturity finally kicking in for Nesta. That isn't a redemption arc. It is like, oh, okay, I'm finally figuring out how to be a good person.
Yeah.
For the first time ever. Not a redemption arc. Not a redemption arc. But again with the Valkyrie girls, why I think she was like, I'm going to be nice to them and be friends with them. It's because with those girls, the other girls, they also had trauma, maybe just as deep, if not worse than Nesta had, but they didn't have to, and she didn't treat them in like garbage or anything. But I think it's because she didn't have, like, I don't know how to say this. She didn't have to deal with theirs the same way she had to deal with hers and her sisters. So I don't know if that made sense, but I think that theirs was like different because they didn't have to, like, she didn't have to compare herself in the same, like, well, I was in that house too, like, because theirs was so different. But anyways, they fought, they healed, they grew. Great, good for them. Nesta, she just that's part of what I think I wrote that down for, is the Valkyrie girls healed and tried to move on from their trauma, but Nesta never really did. And Nesta, like, just never took accountability. She never gave Feyre the apology that Feyre deserved. Hugging her when she thought she was going to die is just, for me, I'm sorry, not an apology. If anyone needs to grovel, it's my girl Nesta. But she was cruel. She abandoned her sister. She had all this resentment and was just a terrible person. And you will not convince me otherwise. She definitely deserves healing. She definitely deserves redemption. She definitely, like several other characters in the ACOTAR universe, deserves some redemption. But Nesta, I think, has had her arc, if you will, and I don't think it served her well. I don't think she's actually grown. And I think what also makes me mad and why I'm like, I am on the Nesta train, like I don't like Nesta, is because the people that root for Nesta so hard are the same ones that like are vehemently opposed to Rhys and Feyre, and just because of that, it also makes me like put a tick in the Nesta hate category.
They're perfect. They're so great.
They're perfect.
I don't understand how you could say that.
Yeah, I don't either. So basically, one mature moment for Nesta does not count as a redemption arc. She can't develop new friendships where you don't have to fix or apologize for anything, because you didn't hurt those people like you hurt your sisters, and be like, look at me, I'm healed, I have friends now. No, you just don't have to like emotionally do anything for them because they have their own trauma that they're dealing with, but whatever. So anyways, she barely made any attempt to restore any bonds, and no one's going to change my mind on this. I don't like her, and she is not grown in my eyes. So that is what it is. Boo, Nesta.
I mean, I think that was good.
I
enjoyed the book, but I really liked the plot that they ended up tying into. Like,
yeah,
I don't think I liked her. I liked the plot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, 2/3 of the plot, because 1/3 was not plot.
No, actually, yeah. Make sure you be looking at our guide.
Yeah, look at that guide one time
if you be reading that book.
Yeah,
that's a great point, Sammy.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. The Dread Trove is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we were talking about the Dread Trove. That was a good plot.
I loved that plot.
That is worth reading.
Trivia question. Yes. I'm so fascinated by it. Love it.
That is the only reason to read Silver Flames.
Honestly. Yeah, and you have to, I'm not going to lie, guys.
You have to.
You have to read it to read Crescent City.
Yep.
Because, okay.
To eventually get to ACOTAR 6.
Here we go. This is the hot take that I am the most passionate about.
And our last hot take's coming.
This is the one I feel like I should end on, and that can tie in.
This is a good one, KG. I'm ready.
That is going to tie into what Sammy just talked about. So major spoils ahead for ACOTAR and Crescent City. If you have not read them.
Put on your earmuffs if you haven't read them.
But yes, so basically you cannot move on to Crescent City until you have read Silver Flames.
Yes.
Because in Crescent City, they cross over. So basically the characters from Crescent City, or one of them, goes to Prythian.
Yes.
So it's basically like another ACOTAR book. Like some of the Crescent City books are literally ACOTAR books. So if you call yourself an ACOTAR fan and you have not read Crescent City,
is in Prythian.
That's what I'm saying. Are you kidding me?
It's crazy.
You call yourself an ACOTAR fan and you have not read Crescent City? It's literally
absolutely insane.
2 more ACOTAR books. Like
it's not like, oh, they mentioned them.
No,
they are there.
You're there. You are there and you are with these characters.
Yes.
Okay, so here's my that is like part of the take, but here's my hot take. Sammy is going to go on in a minute, but there's a huge debate right now about who Azriel and Elain and the Valkyrie girls are. Gwen. Thank you. I
got you.
Should be with. No. I don't think Azriel should be with either of them. I think his mate is Bryce from Crescent City. And y'all, it may sound crazy, but I am fully convinced. I'm pulling out my bullet points for this one, okay? I am fully convinced because I just think it makes so much sense to me. Okay, so here I go. And I'm sad because I love Hunt So please know that me saying this is not me saying that I don't dislike Hunt. I love him.
Yeah.
But I really think that he's going to end up having to leave or is going to die based on his heritage. I won't get into that. That's a whole other thing. But I really kind of feel this in my gut.
The only way I'm going to be okay with this is if Hunt dies.
And 100% I agree with you because I love Hunt.
Otherwise, my heart will be broken.
Him. But here's why I think that they are actually mates.
Yep.
First and foremost, SJM never lets the female main character, their in-game boy is never the first boy that they are interested in. Elain went through multiple, and Feyre also went through, oh sorry, what did I do?
Nope, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. Feyre also went through a guy before she ended up with Rhys. So just 100%, that's weird to me that Bryce meets Hunt like at the beginning and they're mates. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of, maybe she just made me into a questioner because of, I don't know.
Can I tell you something really fast?
Do it.
I forgot you were going to say this, and I screenshotted this.
Oh my gosh, okay, read
it. Before you came over.
That's crazy.
This is from a 2023 interview with Sarah J. Maas. And the quote that was here is, yes, Hunt is Bryce's mate. They are mates. And when I was creating the series, I knew how Throne of Glass and ACOTAR kind of went with the romance. They were just like organic romances that, yeah, she didn't wind up with the first guy she fell in love with. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a real doozy on everyone. I'm going to have the love interest there be the one at the end if they both make it to the end.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think
if they both make it to the end.
That's what I'm saying. I think Hunt is gonna die,
and I'm not.
I'm not prepared. I love him, but I just think it's too sketchy. And then also, I have a note here. Let me find it. Their mating bond, Bryce and Hunt. It's also described as a lightning bond. It's never confirmed as a mating bond, which also I think has been interesting. And Azriel, it's weird to me that he's the only one that it's never been revealed who his mate is. Very interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. I got to stick to my...
Yep. Sorry, I had to sidetrack. As soon as you said that, right. I was like, hold
on.
And
don't come for me
I heard Sarah J. Maas literally say this today.
I think it's crazy. And don't come for me that Bryce was with Connor first. He asked her out on a date. Yeah, they didn't even do anything. He doesn't even count. It was
sad, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. The guy that she's actually with. Okay, so also Azriel's mating bond never being revealed, sus. Everyone else has been revealed, sus. He's like the main guy, and he likes people. So I just think interesting. And then also she's intermingling all her series.
True.
So why would she be doing that? I think that she has to have some sort of like relationship that happens. That's kind of my opinion. I feel like you have to have a mating bond from two places, especially when all the people, right, and especially when all the people from Lunathion, is that how I said it right, are from Prythian initially. So it would make sense that some of that would tie over. Okay, also at the end of House and Sky and Breath, so the second one, Azriel has a super intense reaction when he sees Bryce. First of all, why Bryce, when she travels over there, literally falls at Azriel's feet. She could have ended up anywhere else, and she ended up with him. Suspicious. Then he has a weird reaction when he sees Bryce, and it was described in the book as him snapping into a fighting stance and intensely focusing on her, which happens a lot to when they describe mating bonds.
Snapping into place.
Isn't that? Yes. Interesting.
Okay, KG.
I know. And then I told you that Bryce and Hunt's relationship has not been a confirmed mating bond, really. Like in the book, they don't say it like that. Then also, Azriel's shadows act very differently around Bryce.
That's true.
Interesting. And his shadows have always been an extension of his emotions. So I think that's kind of telling. And at the end of House and Sky and Breath, she crash lands, right into Prythian, what I just said, literally right by Azriel. And it says that his shadows immediately respond to Bryce's presence. his shadows go utterly still and wrap around him, which is a protective or possessive gesture. And it says that he also drops into that stance, but that the shadows are acting weird and they're always an extension of his emotions, like it said, like I just said. And so she was literally could have gone anywhere, and they have two, like, what are the sword and the little knife or whatever that are already connected as well. Yeah. And she has a history, SJM, of having like light and dark in her mating bonds. Like, think about it. Reese the dark, Feyre. And then you've got the light of Feyre. She's like has fire powers. Same with Rowan and Elain. It's like a normal, like, recurring thing for her.
Lightning, like storm versus the fire.
There is so much more that I can talk about here, but I'm trying not to go too insane. So those are the ones that like have continually kept coming up to me.
KG.
And I think it's for real.
I want it.
I know. I'm really worried about Hunt, and I like him so much.
There's
so please
so many
don't think
reasons I want it.
I know, but I think Azriel, he needs, and I don't think, people are fighting about who he should be with, Elain or,
don't worry,
you're getting to that. But whether or not he should be with Elain or Gwen, but neither one are his mate, or he would know it. Because Cassian knew immediately, and so did Reese. Right. So Azriel has feelings, maybe he's attracted to both of them, but for sure neither one are his mate. So also suspicious.
Dang, now I want to reread the beginning. Doesn't he also like sing to her or something when she like shows, or does she sing to him?
I can't remember.
When they're like when she like has her cell phone before it dies.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But he's like so protective of her when they go they're in that tunnel and they're going to the prison. Mm-hmm. Isn't that where they're going?
Yeah.
He's like very protective of her.
Yeah.
Which Azriel is already protective of the people he cares about, but he just met this girl. Right. Like, why does he feel so differently about her? Because he's pretty aloof, and is kind of like not.
Right.
But he's pretty intense when it comes to her and acts differently. His shadows act differently.
Okay. Consider me on board.
I think it's for real, y'all.
I've been influenced by this theory now.
Yeah, sorry, I talked about that forever, but
no, I would continue to hear you talk about it forever because I'm in it.
You guys should look up some theories on that on like TikTok or Instagram, because I went on like a high overview, but to keep with time. But some people really provide some.
There's some good evidence that I believe it. Honestly, I'm okay with that as long as Hunt is okay, because the man has been through enough. He's been through enough. But I love Bryce, so okay. Well, the other reason I would be okay with it, because, and this is my last hot take of the night, and I am very passionate about this, it is because Elain should not end up with Az, because they are not mates. Az is not mates with Elain. Elain is mates with Lucien.
You're right.
If you didn't read that in the book, go back and reread it in the book, because that is what it said. Period. Number 1. Okay, so that's going to take me into my hot take. And my hot take for ACOTAR is that Elain should end up with Lucien. And that is all I need to say, but I will continue. Lucien is her mate. Full stop. Done. Period. For starters, he handled the situation with care. I know that you all are going to come at me and you're going to say, no, he literally said out loud that they're mates and like screamed it. No. It clicked for him, and he stated that much like anyone else would have in that scenario. And then you know what else he did? He recognized that she came out of the cauldron with no clothes on, and he took off his coat or whatever and covered her up and was like, oh my gosh, someone cover her up, and then did it himself because no one else was doing it. So first off, he was very chivalrous in that situation, and he handled that with good care, better than anyone else probably would have in that situation. And he is constantly put down and forgotten about. How are you angry at that? How are you angry that he just found out that his mate is there, and basically that his friend that's not really his friend but his only friend that he's living with just like did this terrible thing and he was kind of along for the ride? Like, I firmly believe that Lucien wasn't like, let's go get these girls and force them into the cauldron. He more or less was just the victim of his circumstances. Like, Lucien was just wrong place at the wrong time. And that's like kind of his whole story, is like he doesn't belong anywhere. And it's so sad. Like, it breaks my heart that he just is like constantly put down. He's constantly forgotten, and he just has nowhere to land. And he helped cover her up. Sure, he blurted out that it was his mate, but the man is in shock. Like, he just discovered his mate. Give him a breather. Like, give him a break. I will say also that, and I don't know how we overlook this, he ran.
I forgot about that.
Ran across a battlefield.
I forgot about that.
To make sure she was okay. To give her a hug that she didn't want, and he never got to give her because she was being awkward and annoying. And I'm not going to hate on Elain too much because we haven't got to know her well enough, and I'm hoping that we do. But oh my gosh, throw a guy a bone. He not only ran across the battlefield to come and check on her, he also went out because nobody wanted him in the night court either. Even Feyre, I got a little beef with you on that. Literally, he just was like, okay, nobody wants me. I'm going to help where I can, because he genuinely wanted to help. So he goes out and finds Elain, Nesta, and Feyre's dad. Finds his dad, or their dad. Brings back 3 ships full of people.
Which is so nice.
Which is, one, so nice. 2, so helpful in the fight. Like, a real, like, turning point, because that's what helps them put everyone over the edge in the battle. But he found and delivered her father to help them win the war, the battle at least. Ran across the battlefield to make sure she was okay. Got her presents at the holidays, even though she was like a brat about it and like not kind. Like,
I know you're not wrong.
Don't get me started, because that made me really mad about the presents at the holidays. He literally delivers Feyre to safety. Like, make sure she's okay, helps her travel through the different, like,
all the courts.
I almost said countries. Yeah, all the different courts. Like, knows what she's doing when she goes back to the spring court, and is not going to stop her, because he is on her team, and he just wants to belong somewhere. He just wants a family, and he just wants back to his mate. And while he is in the midst of going with her, because he's like, I know Feyre's going to try and leave, I'm going to go with her on this little escapade through the spring court. He more or less is about to be assaulted by, is it Ianthe? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
About to be assaulted by Ianthe, or however you pronounce her name. And his first response, and I'm gonna cry, his first response is, don't tell Elain, because he is so embarrassed and he just wants Elain to like him. And that ripped my heart out. When he was like, Feyre, please don't tell her. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, Lucien, no. Lucy, my boy. Okay, I will keep going.
He is such a great guy, though.
But I need you guys to know that he is not a bad guy, and he is not the enemy just because you guys like Az. And I think if Az doesn't belong to Gwen, because I do think they would be kind of cutesy,
I just feel like they shouldn't be together, because that's his second choice.
Yes, I am with you on that.
Yeah, and
the second choice thing I
think that's why I really don't want them to be a thing.
Yes, and I'm here to root for Bryce now, apparently, but I do not want Elain and Az to end up together. I think that Lucien and Elain should be together. And I would be okay if maybe like there was some kind of like heartbreak moment where Elain like is like, no, I don't want to be with you, I want to be with Azriel, and then like has this giant like redemption arc and like and then was like realizes actually I do want to be with Lucien or something. I don't want Lucien to end up with what's her face from the where is Feyre originally from? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the court's name.
Spring?
No.
Wait, who?
Elain, back in like the human world. What's the court?
Oh, of Human Lands?
Yeah. Is there a name for it?
I think it's just the Human Lands.
Whatever it's called. Sorry. It's been a minute since I've read it. But whatever that area's from, whatever the girl that everyone thinks he should end up with, like the Misfits.
Yes.
Whatever
I don't
her name
like
is.
that. Yeah, no.
I don't think that.
But I know what you're talking about.
But I think that he needs to go meet his real dad, which I won't spoil that for you, even though we've spoiled plenty tonight. I think he needs to go meet with his real dad, and I think that he needs to go live his life in the day court. And I think that Elain needs to come to her senses because they are mates and they should be in love, and I love them both and would love them both together because Lucien deserves the world. That's all I have to say.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, Sammy and I have had differing opinions on this, but now that I feel like Az should be with his mate. So if that's Bryce, then I want him to be with that, but I just strongly don't want him to be with Gwen because I feel like that's his second choice and that's just not fair to her.
And I will also say with Az, like, I just think it would be such like cheap writing for it to be 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
Also true.
I just like I just don't like it. Like, I don't know. And I could go into who I think belongs to who, not belongs, but like who I think it should end up with each other and like whatever for a long time in ACOTAR, because don't get me started on bringing Eris into the mix because I also have thoughts on that. But I think that Lucien and Elain should end up together. And that is my hottest of takes for the evening.
That was a good one to end on.
Thank you very much.
I liked that.
I think all of these were pretty good.
I thought this was fun.
Yeah. If you've stuck around with us for all of these, I'm sorry if we just yapped your ear off. We probably could have made this 2 segments, but we had so many options and so many opinions. And we just needed to talk about them. And we're glad that you listened and talked with us. Hopefully, if you have a different opinion, you would feel free to or want to comment and tell us that. But if you agreed, also let us know. Yeah. We want to know your hot takes.
I'm dying to know some other people's hot takes.
Let us know.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Yeah.
Make sure you like, subscribe, comment wherever you're listening. We really appreciate it. And I guess we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.